the class of 2010. It is my honor to introduce our guest speaker today. I met this man many years ago when he first started as a teacher at Fruness High School. We actually co-taught a class in the Twilight program. He has gone on to bigger and better things since then. He has decided to grace us with his presence today. He has been a professor at Temple University, at Columbia University, and he's also been a contributor at the Fox News Channel. So he's been on TV, so he's famous. But he doesn't forget his roots. He is proof that someone can come from humble beginnings and achieve great things. So that's a message to you guys as well. Ladies and gentlemen, our commencement speaker, Dr. Marc Hill.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody feeling good? It's a happy time. Y'all seem so down. Smile, cheer. How y'all doing? They getting out of y'all house. Cheer for that. Class of 2010. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'm always excited I travel around this country and I'm always excited to go to any high school, a community center, or a university. But there's nothing more special than coming to Fruness High School because I started here as a teacher, because this is where I learned what it meant to value education, and this is where I really started on a journey that I'm still trying to navigate right now. So to see so many people who I taught with still here, Mr. Pinto I see there, Miss Macero's is there, I see so many people, Miss Coleman, can we get some love to Miss Coleman? Every year she holds this graduation down and makes it a beautiful thing. Mr. Colger over there, cool as a fan. I love you, Mr. Colger. I'm so excited to be here because this is such a special moment in all of your lives, and I want you all to never underestimate how special this day is. But you didn't get here by yourselves. You didn't get here purely because you worked hard and because you cared and because you came to school every day and because you passed your test, even though you did all of that stuff. You also got here, like all of us, because someone else helped you. You got there because someone else cared for you. You got there because somebody else prayed for you. Somebody struggled for you. Somebody sacrificed for you. Somebody worked for you. Somebody came to school for you. Somebody signed them permission slips and them suspension forms for you. Somebody went to the discipline office for you. And so what I want y'all up on the stage to do right now is stand up and give a round of applause to these people out here who did all that for y'all. Thank you so much. Now, I'm so happy to see so many people celebrate these young people's achievements. I work on TV and I work for Fox on the visiting team. So I have a whole lot of conversation about what's wrong with the world, a whole lot of conversations about what's wrong with our children. Every day on TV, all we talk about is flash mobs and shootings and drug deals. Why would they ever tell this story of this beautiful group of children who have just achieved yet another major success in their lives? Let's tell that story on Channel 29. Let's tell that story on Channel 10. Let's call CNN and tell them that we have a great story of young people who have just done something they say our children will never do. But let's not get too happy. Let us not become too self-congratulatory. Let us not become too self-satisfied, because this is just one part of the journey. 4 years ago, they were in 8th grade, and a whole lot of people who were in the 8th grade class didn't make the 12th grade class. Because just like the Boston Celtics, they celebrated too early. Kobe, baby. Y'all can boo, I got the mic. But class of 2010 is too wise for that. They're too smart for that, and y'all love them too much to let them celebrate too early. So 4 years from now, we're gonna meet up again for another graduation. And then in 3 years, we're gonna have another graduation. And then in 4 years, we're gonna have another graduation. This is just one stop on the next one. Somebody say, on to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. That's what I'm talking about. You see, we have to move on to the next one. There is something bigger and brighter and bolder for these children. But in order for us to get to that next level, I got a couple of pieces of advice for you. Just a couple, and I'm gonna let y'all go party and celebrate. Hit the club, talking to the parents. The first thing that I want you all to consider as you all move on to the next one is to listen carefully. Not just to me. Y'all don't have much choice at the moment. But to listen to each other. To listen to voices that sound and look different than yours. We're in a world with a whole lot of problems. In the class of 2010, y'all are the ones that are going to solve it. But you can't solve it if we allow ourselves to be divided by race, to allow ourselves to be divided by culture, to allow ourselves to be divided by what block we from. We have too much important work to do to let that happen. In class of 2010, you all are too smart for that because these young folk have something to say, and as you all get older, I don't want y'all to get forgetful and stop listening to the people who didn't listen to you. Because sometimes grown folk, we don't listen to these kids. And I understand why. Some of them don't make no sense. I be trying to listen to their music. I used to be the cool professor, you know. I try to listen to their music. Now I can't even understand. What y'all listen to? Drake? Wayne, Nicki Minaj? I can listen to Nicki Minaj. It's part of my research. But let's not get too nostalgic. Let us not forget that there were times when people didn't understand our music or our clothes or our fashion. As you all go from being 18 to 28 to 38 to 58, and believe me, it happens faster than you think. Sure enough, right? When it happens, I don't want y'all to get forgetful because parents, I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Your parents have been lying to you all this time. Parents lie to their kids all the time. Son, I never cut class. I went to every class. When class was over, I went and found other classes to go to. I waited until I was 22 to have my first drink. I waited until I was married to go on vacation. And so we begin to tell these lies and we begin to think that we're doing this to make children think that there's something bigger and better for them, and that's cool. But we never want to send a message to people that they have to be perfect to be useful. You all are going to go out in the world and you're going to make mistakes. We want you to listen to us so you don't make the same mistakes. We want you to make some new mistakes. Don't do what we did, make some different ones. But you're going to make them, but when you make those mistakes, don't stay there. The only people with clean uniforms are ones that don't get into the game. If you get in the game, you're going to get grass on you. You're going to get dirt on you. You're going to get blood on you. And you're going to keep fighting. You're going to keep pushing. You're going to keep growing in the service of your dreams. The next thing I want to tell you is, be yourself. We live in a world that tells us not to be ourselves. We live in a world that tells us to be yourself. To be yourself, you got to be a size 2. Or you got to be built like Nicki Minaj, thicker than a Snicker. They tell you that you got to be somebody's thug or somebody's dope boy or somebody's baby mom. They tell you that you have to be these things. There's nothing wrong with having a child, but they tell you that you have to be these things to be real. I remember being in New York City. I was backstage, Madison Square Garden. I was doing an article on 50 Cent, and I saw 50, and I said, he was getting ready for the show. He's, you know, Yayo and Buck was putting oil on him. Just kidding. But he was getting ready for the show, and I noticed that he had a big cup of Hennessy. I know none of y'all drink, but Hennessy is a cognac. It's quite strong. And I said, how do you walk on stage with Hennessy every single day? How do you do 30? He said, Doc, I do 25 shows this month. I said, how do you do 25 shows drinking that much alcohol every night on stage? He said, let me tell you something. He said, this ain't Henny. He said, this is iced tea. True story. He said, I don't really drink that much. He said, I don't smoke. He said, I exercise every day and I just stopped eating meat. Pause. And I said,